This car has been a pain in the butt. Just to change some spark plugs. Good God Almighty. Alright, those are all the tools you're going to need. Granted, on the right, the spark plugs, you need brand new ones, obviously. But going from left to right, you're going to need some scissors, needle nose pliers, 10mm socket, pliers, the 5/8 socket for the spark plugs, several extensions, one for the half drive, the other one for the, I would say 1/4 drive. I don't know if that's actually the right size, but I'll put the descriptions down below for the tools. You're also going to need flathead screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, and it does help to have this magnetic arm there. That does come in handy to get the screws and sockets off. But alright, that's that. That's all the tools you will need. What's happening, viewers? Man, it's a little bright right now. Sun came out. Anywho, I'm going to show you guys how to change out the spark plugs on a 2014 Kia Cadenza. Let's get into it. First thing you want to do is obviously remove the GDI cover. So our fun part is going to be taking all that off. Our spark plugs are underneath this, I'm going to call it the intake for now. And I'll have to look up the proper name for you guys. But anywho, we're going to call this the air intake. And we're going to need to remove this. But in order to remove this, we're going to have to remove a lot of stuff. So there's 3 spark plugs underneath here. The other 3 spark plugs are right there, there, and there. And the other 3 are underneath that. So we're going to attack that first because that is the hardest thing to remove. So without further ado, let's hop into it. First thing first is you want to remove the air assembly. So we're going to go ahead and remove this air assembly here. And this one here, and that's where your air filter is at. So I'm going to show you guys how to change out the air filter. Aren't you guys lucky today? Alright, here we go. So this bolt right here is a 10mm. You're going to need a 10mm socket to get that off. Same for this side here, another 10mm socket. Well, I'm having such a hard time with millimeter today. But I am. There's that. Alright, so those 2 screws are removed. The next screw you want to get to is right. You see this latch right here? Follow this latch straight down. There's a bolt right down this latch. Once again, it's still a 10mm socket. There is another bolt right down this way. So right here, and I wish I could see it. I've tried to position it all in there several times, but to no avail. But there's another bolt. It's still a 10mm socket that you're going to need to get it off. Alright, that's pretty much loose. There's 2 screws down there I need to get from that air assembly, so I'm going to use this to pick it up. So there's 1 screw. There's my other screw. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to unplug that sensor there. Lift it. There we go. We need to push that clip inward. Alright, so see, they came out pretty easily. So that needs to set aside. Get it out of the way. Next thing, see that? We're going to undo this, but you can get a pair of pliers. It's not too hard for me at least. So I'm just gonna move that off to the side there. You're gonna want to take this hose off too. So that hose is set aside as well. Backtrack that line. So it goes from there, there, bam, right there. There we go. All right. So I got that line off. This is the air assembly. We gotta take the air assembly off. Air assembly goes from here all the way back, loops over here, to all the way to there. So we're gonna take all that off. Next thing is this screw here. We're going to loosen it. So again, guys, I apologize for all the shaking and movement in this. I am not using my gimbal to record this. I'm just holding you guys steady. So when you remove that screw there and there, you can just lift this straight out. So I'm gonna go ahead and lift this up and out, and that gives us even more. That gives us even more room. So now we got to remove that. All right, the whole thing comes off. So see, that whole air assembly comes out. Now if I actually wanted to get to the air filter, I undo this latch here, here, and this opens up. And as you can tell, I've got a K&N air filter in here, and that's how you change out the filter. So now that is all exposed. There's the air throttle. Air throttle's right there. I do not advise you try to attempt to clean that, because this is a fly-by-wire, and if you do put any solution through here, you run the risk of that solution falling in here, damaging that. This is a $500 part, so I'm not even gonna mess with that. As much as I want to clean all that carbon up, I'm not touching that, so I'm gonna leave it alone. So next thing we're gonna do is, you see these bolts here, those are 10mm bolts, so we're gonna go ahead and remove those as well. There's one there right where my ratchet is at. There's another one here, here, and there. So we're gonna go ahead and remove, we're gonna start taking those off right now. There's that. There's that one. There's two more on the sides. So there's a screw. It's that one. Sits right there. Actually, it's just a nut. That's pretty cool. I do not want to lose that. So I'm gonna hit it with this. There's that little nut. There's another one on the other side. See that stud? See him sticking up right there? So it's that one. That's one you need to take off as well. You have to remove that one and that one. Guys, you're also going to need to see these hoses over here. They're clamped. Sorry for the shadow. I don't know what's going on. Okay, but we're going to need to undo. I see a bracket. I want to take this one. We're gonna have to unclamp that. Hey, Love. There's that. Because this is a metal line, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And let's see if I can turn it a bit. What was that?
What happened, babe?
I heard a sound.
The what?
I heard a sound.
Yeah, I hear it too, like a yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
I hear it too. What is it?
Vacuum.
Oh,
Whew.
the suction.
Yep. Alright, went and got some trusty rags. Because I know as soon as I pull this, coolant's going to leak out. So, got a rag ready. Sorry, don't see this. What I'm doing is using the pliers and kind of clamping and pulling and wiggling. And I got my rag to kind of catch it. Whoa. Yeah, that kind of squirted. Kind of went all over the place. This thing is definitely under pressure. Let's see if there's any more in there. I'll go ahead and just let that drain off. Alrighty. Okay. That's that. Swear I've never worked on a car that actually has coolant going to the throttle body. Very interesting. Very interesting. Alright, there is another hose underneath this throttle body right here. I don't think you guys can see it, but it's pretty bright. Just take my word for it. There's a line there. So I'm gonna go ahead and shimmy that down. And same thing like I did with the other one. Kind of work it back and forth. And pull it down. There it goes. Work it. Come on. Yeah. And there we go. There's that hose. And some coolant leaked out a bit. Let's see what else is keeping this thing in place. I do know there is a screw on the back side of this. There's a screw back there. We're going to have to remove that screw because that's also keeping this thing down. But what I'm also checking for before I move on and take off anything else is what else is attached to this. It'd be easier for me to get this off from here because this line right here that I'm pointing to connects to this intake as well. So we're going to go ahead and remove this line from here. It works. Work this. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Remove that right there. Alright. There's that. We're going to get that out of the way. Alright, so that's moved. I've got another line back here. Move, y'all. See, there's a line there. That needs to come off. Like I said, it's a lot of stuff to remove to get to the spark plugs. So, we're going to have to unclamp that and move that back. I know y'all probably won't be able to see it. So I'm going to scoot y'all back out, set y'all down, and I'm going to have at it. I'm going to remove this one too because it's kind of in my way of getting the other stuff off. So, okay, I remove the second line from here. Yeah, yes, here, second off. Okay, great, I tell you. My jaw's the same thing. These back lines are pain in the rear, get off it, come on. Good grief. And then I gotta get this one underneath. Alright, you see that? That's for the fly-by wire for the throttle body. We're gonna have to unplug this as well, so there we go. Good grief, that thing was a pain in the ass to take off. Okay, so what you want to do on this back one here is I actually have a flathead screwdriver in here. I've got a pair of needle nose pliers too, but that didn't work. So I'm going to work this flathead screwdriver around to, there we go, to get that loose so I can just pull it down. See, there it goes. So yeah, so now that's unplugged. I think I probably got almost all the attachments off. Really wanted to make sure there's no more wires connected to this thing. So let me go check that out right quick. Okay, on the side of the engine, I'm on the passenger side right now. You're going to need to unplug these lines here. That connector too. That connector. This connector. That connector. There's another one up top. That connector. And this one over here. So these all have to be out of the way because whatever's attached to this is going to come off as a group. And yeah, like I see, you see this clip here? I'm gonna have to take that off. So let me get that. I've got a pair of scissors. So all I'm gonna do is just get my little scissors because they're thin enough to squeeze the clip. So I can push that attachment through that hole. So I can get at least one of these to go in. That's a lot easier. There it goes. It's like using tweezers, basically. So put that aside. Following the same wire bracket that we just undid, remember those were some silver bolts holding that in place. We're gonna follow that, follow it. See these wires here? There's another clip. That clip's gotta come off. And we're gonna have to unplug this up here. I don't know if y'all can see that. The shadow's pretty bad. So we're gonna need to unplug this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. What I do is I already have the clamp, but I push on it and then so I don't break it. There it goes. So what you want to do is you want to push on that, pull forward, and then pull it back. And that way you don't tear up those clips. There's another clip, there's another sensor connector here. You're gonna need to remove that too. It's being a little pesky. See, this one's got one of those safeguard clips on it. This one here. So, I'm trying to see if there's another way I can get it off. Huh. Well, apparently, if you just pull up on this, see that metal bracket? So all you have to do is just pull straight up, and that comes out. So all we have to do is worry about getting this clip here off. Remember, you just work these like tweezers. If I had tweezers, automotive tweezers, I'd actually use those than the scissors, but this is all I got, so I'm gonna have to improvise. And besides, I don't feel like taking an extra 5 minutes to look for some stuff that's just misplaced. And there we go. That clips out. Make my life a lot easier if I could, oh, sweet. So all we're gonna do is just kind of push this off to the side. We still got one more clip on the other side of this. There's another one of these. So we're going to undo that. I'm gonna leave y'all guys right there. There we go. Whew. Alright, that is up and at 'em. So, because we're going to want to lift this thing straight out. Like, see, there's a wire here. So, we need to disconnect this plug. Yeah, this car's got plugs for days. It's crazy. You get a plug, and you get a plug. Oh, surprise, surprise. You get a plug. Alright. I don't know if y'all remember me telling y'all there's a screw. Hold up. Alright guys, we're back on the passenger side of the engine. So remember earlier we unplugged all these wires that were lined up? Well, if you follow these two lines here, that's going to lead you to a bolt. There is a big bolt right there. See that bolt right there? That's the bolt that's on the back side of the passenger. On the passenger side of this vehicle, you're going to have to remove that bolt. Okay, so I'm going to attempt to remove that bolt that's back there. I put you guys over here, but there ain't no dang space, man. See, 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. This thing looks like it might be free. There's that boat I was telling y'all. It's 15 millimeter. Alright, I'm gonna give this a friendly tug. Yeah, it's getting loose. I can tell all my tensions here in the front. I can actually show y'all where that's at. So, this bracket here is where we keep all the electrical wires. Alright, I can already tell just by wiggling that. We're gonna have to take that bolt off so I can get some more leeway. Okay. That screw's gonna have to come off. Oh, and it's, surprise, surprise, it's a 10 millimeter. I love 10 millimeter. Awesome. And I do want to thank y'all for watching my channel and supporting my channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to me. I'll point to it with my socket. That one there, that one there, that one there, that one there. You're gonna have to attack all of those in order to get that out of here. How do I look? Marvelous. Woo. Sounds of breaking new boats. New car. Lovely. Next one. Oh, that's not that bad. That was pretty easy. Let me get my little magnetic device. Nothing like fishing for unnecessary bolts. I hate that crap. It annoys the hot mess out of me. That one. Next one. Last one. That one. And that one. It moves. That's amazing. Alright, so I put y'all in position. There it goes. It's coming up. Ta-tas. Welcome back. Alright, so I got it off. had to cover up the actual ports for this. Valve cover ports, that's what I'm calling it for now. The valve cover ports. Anywho, once you remove this, you have access to the actual valves. I don't know if y'all can. Uh-oh. I might have broke some on my camera. I see it, just the attachment. There we go. So you can actually see in the engine. And every last one of these. So that's the, those are the intake valves. So you can actually see all in there. Spark plugs are right there, there, and there. But I don't want to leave this exposed for too long. See, that's how it looks with it off. But like I said, I don't want to leave this open for too long. Dirt, debris, all sorts of shenanigans can fall in the engine and damage it. So hence why I got this towel to cover it all up. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover these back up. Man, the amount of carbon, good God almighty. It looks horrible. And remember, with these GDI engines, there's no gasolines that go over the intake valves. So the intake valves gunk up really fast, really quick, like. So I'm gonna keep that covered while I work on it, while I change out those spark plugs back there. There's the actual intake. I'm calling it the intake. I think they call it an air tank, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what they call it in the manual. But anywho, this is an intake where I come from. So we're calling it the dang intake. So that's that right there. I'll show you underneath it too. But you also want to lay this one face down. Oh dear. Good grief. You want to lay that face down like so, because you don't want to get any dirt underneath there. So like I said, the engine is open. We don't want any contaminants getting inside. So that being said, let's go ahead and change out those spark plugs. That's what you guys are here for. You're not here to have me rambling on about nonsense.